students, I am Ishan Trivedi. Welcome you in the video lecture series. Today I am going to discuss about growth of town. In this session, I am going to cover growth of town according to direction, growth of town according to origin, which further classified as concentric spread, ribbon development, satellite growth and scattered growth. In previous session, in growth of town, I have covered the growth of town according to origin, in which natural growth and plant growth was discussed. In this session, I am going to cover growth of town according to direction, which further classified as horizontal growth and vertical growth, and the separate theory of natural growth, which is concentric spread, ribbon development, satellite growth and scattered growth. So let us start with growth of town according to direction. In this horizontal growth, the town expands and develops horizontally in all the directions. Such growth is possible at a place where the land is available in plenty at nominal cost. Second is vertical growth. The buildings of towns are designed and developed as multi-storied flats. Such growth will be possible at the places where the land is costly. In these two cases, if I am talking about horizontal growth, where the land is available, there is a topographical benefit, such development would occur, such as Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Surat, Rajkot. These are the places where the development is horizontally spread. Whereas in vertical growth, there is a lesser land availability or there will be a physical barrier. So the city will grow vertically. Here you can see the picture of New York and the Hong Kong, where there is obstruction of natural phenomenon, and that's why due to limitation of land, city has grown vertically. Now let us understand the advantages and disadvantages of horizontal growth. Here the density of population can be restricted. There will be saving in the cost as the building will usually consist of 2 or 3 story, because the entire area and the land is available in such a manner that people are used to prefer in individual dwelling houses, so that there is a building which height is restricted up to 2 to 3 story. It does not require the services of high technical personnel. There is economy of floor space as per the provision of columns, lifts, etc. will not be required. Maximum possible use of the natural light at all the sides of a residential unit, because these residential units are of detached type and independent bungalow, so that all the component of a building have natural benefit of sunlight. The surrounding marginal space can be utilized for developing the garden. Next is the disadvantages of horizontal growth. It requires more land for the same space area. As everything is developed at ground floor and first floor, so the number of available land and the number of construction done on that land, it is in similar nature. Then the foundation cost per unit area will be more, because in a residential unit there are 2 or 3 people or up to 5 people are living in that. So per foundation cost per unit area will be more. There will be absence of group living. It requires more land and hence it will be uneconomical where the land values are high. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of horizontal growth. Now, advantages and disadvantages of vertical growth. If I am talking about advantages, the foundation cost per unit area will be less. There is an economy in construction cost, because things are constructed vertically. There is considerable saving in the land because certain land is reserved as green area and everything is constructed in limited space. Buildings are generally frame structure and as such prove economical. Since the number of people utilize the common amenities of the same building, it develops a sense of group living because things are shared. For example, lobbies, lift, then general amenities like garden, gym area, or any indoor and outdoor sports area. Upper floors of multi-story buildings give enjoyable views of natural scenery such as sea view, river view, and so on. Now I am talking about disadvantages of vertical growth. In vertical growth, as the number of units are more, it attracts number of people. More number of people are there, then the density of population in that particular area is very much high. Next is we require facilities of lift, pump to raise the water will cause greater inconvenience. In case of natural calamities such as an earthquake or fire, it will be difficult for the inhabitant of upper floors to escape safely. Next, the avails of group living will have to be tolerated. The people living at upper floors are deprived of natural living near the ground level. The design of flats will be stereotyped and hence there is no scope for personal likes and dislikes. You have to adopt the plan and the arrangement of rooms as it is given and it is in similar nature as the orientation of one unit would differ in opposite direction but the orientation will same in the room and their components. Again I am telling you the orientation of room is similar. The design of units in one floor is remain same. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of vertical growth. So how would you remember? The advantages of vertical growth is the disadvantages of horizontal growth. In a similar manner, disadvantages of vertical growth is the advantages of horizontal growth. Now next is growth of town according to origin, in which I am going to talk about natural growth which further classified as concentric growth. It is the natural tendency of people who prefer to live nearer to as possible to the town or city. And as a result of this tendency, the town develops in the form of concentric rings with nucleus in the town. And see, you can see here, there is a nucleus, you can say CBD area. As I go further, then it further classified as a light manufacturing, low class residential, medium class and high class residential units. The center of the town consists of business district or you can say CBD and is the focal point of all the commercial, social and civic life of the town. Such town is very soon suffer from improper houses, concentration of people in the heart of the town and congestion of traffic and accidents. Next is urban development. In cities, everyone has tendency to build as nearer to the main road as possible and hence building activities depends along the sides of main road and long fingers or ribbon of houses, shops, factories, etc. along the main roads are developed. You can see here the activities are attracted on the main roads and everything or the development is done on the main road only. In major road or in major junction there will be only a tea stall. As people would found any opportunities, they start building according to their needs and ultimately the haphazard development come up. Furthermore, urban development has become a regular feature where we find an overcrowding of all the types of building, such as schools, petrol pumps, shops, banks, etc. So, in this type of development, this is more dangerous from traffic point of view. Now let us understand these advantages and drawbacks of urban development. As I said, everything are concentrated on main road. The traffic capacity and efficiency of main road are reduced. The local traffic considerably affect the through traffic of main roads. Those who wants to go straight and away. Next is it scatters the community and thus social links get affected. Any future expansion or development become costly and difficult because everything is developed on the main road. Nothing has been developed at the inner part of the road. Furthermore, the living residents suffer from more noise, dust and polluted atmosphere. It affects the visibility on the roads. The inner portion is left undeveloped, which results in the wastage of valuable lands. And at last, it spoils the aesthetic look of the town. So this is about urban development. Here you have to understand and write down the definition. At the same time, you have to write down the disadvantages or drawbacks of urban development. Next is satellite growth. When a town reaches at certain size, some sort of satellite growth is bound to take place. A satellite is used to indicate a smaller township possessing its own identity but remain in the influence of big city. Here you can see there is a parent city which is surrounded by green belt. After green belt, certain roads are fanning out from the city center. And along these main roads, small towns or small nuclei is developed. This nuclei or small town is nothing but satellite town, which greatly depends upon the parent city. You can see in this, the development is occur at the peripheral and the outskirts road, and these are the satellite towns. For example, Faridabad near Delhi, Vashi near Mumbai. This is the map of Delhi, New Delhi, Noida, Ghaziabad, Faridabad and Gurugram. So such nodes or such towns are developed near to the main cities. So this figure shows the development of satellite town around the parent city. Now understand the characteristics or feature of satellite town. It has its own local government and corporate life which is separate from parent city. It is a town which is depends to some extent upon the nearby large town or big city. It remains very well connected to the parent city by local train or buses. It is located beyond the green belt of a parent city as I showed you. It is more or less a residential area having only local shops and primary or secondary schools. It is free to decide its economy, social and cultural activities. It is neither village nor a suburb. It need not have zoning regulation. It is free from those things. The city size and development is so controlled that it does not become a rival to the parent city. The satellite town may be considered to be a part of market for some goods and services being produced in that parent city. Now I will tell you one example so you can compare with these characteristics with certain location. If I am talking about Ahmedabad city and Ahmedabad and its surrounded villages, then Ahmedabad is very well connected with Dehgaam, with Kalol, with Mehmedabad. So Ahmedabad is parent city and the surroundings are satellite towns which morely depends upon parent city. Now there are sort of communication road network between Ahmedabad to Kalol, Ahmedabad to Dehgaam and Ahmedabad to Mehmedabad. Now there is special transport service, state transport is there from where the communication is being done. Then Ahmedabad has Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, whereas Mehmedabad, Dehgaam and Kalol has its own local governance, which is totally independent from AMC. Then they have their own social and cultural activities than the Ahmedabad city. Yes, there is a provision of like hospital, primary and secondary school. All the things are there. Even colleges are constructed and development is occur. But if I compare Ahmedabad with Dehgaam, the Dehgaam in future it is not going to be Ahmedabad. It is not going to be a second Ahmedabad city. Remember this. So the development is restricted at satellite town. So these are the characteristics of satellite town. You can see what I've talked about. Near AMC you can see Dehgaam, Mehmedabad, Sanand and Kalol. So these are those satellite towns which depends on the Ahmedabad city, but they have their own area and their own local municipality. So by correlating with this real example, even in your town you will find such development. See, these satellites are major attraction for their own locality. You will find those markets, those economical activities, shopping centers, even some of the industrial activities are gone at the surroundings. So they have their own importance and own significance. But majorly they are depending upon, and the majority of people are doing up down from that areas to Ahmedabad. Next is growth of town according to origin. In that I am talking about scattered growth. In this case, the growth of town taken place in very irregular manner. It results into traffic congestion, encroachment of industries on the residential areas, slums, lack of parks and various other problems which proves to be difficult to be solved in future. So I'm ending this session here. I hope you have learned the growth of town according to origin and direction. Thanks for watching this video.